Is there a material fire in hell? When we read the Sum of Theology of St. Thomas Aquinas, we see that it strives in his supplement, while he was already dead. These are the writings of youth taken by his secretary brother Reginald. He strives to justify how a material fire could burn an angel, and a pure spirit that would be a dead person before the resurrection. He thinks. He gives himself many hypotheses, and in particular, he ends up with this one. For him, at a given moment God would condemn angels and men to no longer be able to consider with their intelligence that the essence of the material fire, which would put them in absolute rage, since they are intelligences, and they want to consider other things. Obviously, in this perspective it would be a superadded punishment of God. We understand that God does not do that. God is not someone who deliberately tortures a soul. On the other hand, we see it in a parable when a man is possessed by hundreds of demons who beg Jesus not to send them to hell, but to let them go in pigs. And Jesus allows them. On the other hand, it can happen that God prevents a demon from harming men against whom he attacks. It depends on the immediate will of Christ. Why do not demons want to go to hell, in this place they have chosen? Because, being unable to take care of men, they think only of their own rage, of their own revolt, and that is something awful. But that's a spiritual fire, it's not a material fire. So, to understand how, materially too, it will be realized, to know that the damned will suffer a material fire, here are several approaches. The first is that after the resurrection, there is obviously somatization. It means that all the plagues of the soul are reflected in psychology, and even to the body, which seems so deformed and radiates from the inner hatred of which they live. That's a first effect. But there is something else. The greatest terror of the damned, their greatest suffering is obviously to meet someone from paradise, someone who reigns over the heart of God, from where he emanates joy, because they have despised the qualities that these people of paradise have loved, humility and love. So, rather than encountering them, by chance, in this immense and unique world, they certainly prefer to hide in the most distant places, the most sinister places, perhaps the heart of the stars if there are any, or the coldest places. In any case, never to meet anyone. We could, it's a metaphor, imagine the damned as these black holes in the heart of our current galaxies. It's only a metaphor, because the other world is not our world that is falling into decay, who rot, who will disappear. The other world is a world much more immense, and especially made of an eternal matter. But, this picture shows well. Never meet someone from heaven, and therefore condemn oneself to the most sinister places. Does this mean that they suffer from this physical fire? No. It is nothing compared to the fire of their souls. But, beyond all this, they maintain their sins rather than repent.